Undead Unluck Chapter 231 is out, and continuing from last time, we continue with the absolute insanity that this arc has presented us, and this chapter was just crazy, all things considered, and fully showcases how overpowered the ability of Unjustice actually is. But before we jump into things, first I want to thank you guys for the views I got from the previous Undead Unluck video. It was all honestly, I was nervous for it, and you guys ended up enjoying it, so I'm going to keep covering the series as often as I possibly can. So I'll be sure to keep it up because this series is amazing, and we're still in the final portion of the story that I really want to get towards the ending. And also, if you haven't already, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Now then, let's get on to chapter 231 of Undead Unluck, titled Remember. And we start things off directly from last week after Julia and Victor ended up coming together and being able to stop an attack from Soul and even deal some damage. And Julia is completely confused, realizing that her ability is manifested, as Victor's like, well, yeah, you kind of stopped the attack earlier from hitting us. And she's wondering how she's doing this because she still hasn't gotten a handle on Unjustice at all. But Soul is just not having this, wanting to kill them before she even gets a handle on that ability, since she's still incomplete right now. And so he begins to charge up another attack to try and take them out. And I love how Victor knows Julia's ability from her past life as Juz, fully understanding when Unjustice is activated, and even Julia doesn't understand how it's activated right now, considering they're about to be attacked. Now back on the surface, as Andy and Fuuko are fighting Death and Luck, Fuuko realizes what's happening as Victor and Julia get blasted out from underneath the base into the air in open space. And I like how Julia thinks that they just took the attack so her ability didn't activate, but Victor just says, well, we got hit, but we're outside, which is definitely something that Soul didn't want to do. So, fully utilizing how Unjustice actually works. And now Fuuko got all the confirmation she needed to enact the next stage of their plan to really turn things in their favor. Now that Unjustice is manifested, Fuuko figures that now is the best time for everybody, as she pulls out Remember so that everybody can win, stating that with this, we'll win for sure. As she activates Remember, as in this instance she tells everybody in the Union to take the memories of all the previous loops ingrained within their souls and set them free. As the light shines, we then get to see all the members of the Union regain all their memories and experiences from their past lives. This is a moment that we've been waiting to see happen for the longest time, and with Julia awakening Unjustice, this fully sets things in motion for the Union to truly turn things in their favor in the biggest of ways. We cut to Billy and Tella as they're fighting against Umo War. As they're looking over towards War, something's different. His equipment's falling apart, and as he's noticing this, he is stabbed through the head with a sword, as the next thing we see is Victor and Julia standing above a defeated War. As she says, go ahead and copy Unjustice, Billy. You can do so even without being our enemy, correct? As Billy laughs and says, thanks to you, yes. Man, I just love that look on the two of them. Julia has that look of confidence and cockiness that she literally just took out a Master Rule with ease, with the ability of Unjustice literally having him undo all of his wartime abilities that were literally giving Billy so much trouble to begin with, instantly making him unable to fight, getting the element of surprise and taking him out. That was just insane. And I also like how now they have their memories back, all the shit that happened in the past they know about, but they're just letting it go on how it is. They're friends, they're allies now. I just love it. You can tell that how Juz's attitude is towards Julia now. It just feels like the perfect combination. Julia tells Billy and Victor to head off and help Rip and the others, but for her, she heads off towards somewhere else. We cut back to Fang fighting Time as they realize that War was taken out. And as they're looking away, Fang hits them in the head with a clean blow, telling him that he's a fool and to never show the same opening twice. And man, he looks like an actual old mentor that you see in most like old kung fu movies or anime and manga. I like Old Man Fang's design. He actually looks a lot cooler now. And the fact that he's literally dealing like a really big blow to a Master Rule is just insane. The fact that he's so old now. And he hasn't lost a step. The man is a kung fu master. Now, Time realizes that he's growing stronger despite the age. And so he miscalculated. And so in that case, at the very least, he'll have to take the rest of Fang's time, which shows how strong Fang is and how despite him being aged up, the age just makes him stronger, which is incredibly insane. Is Fang an Asgardian or something? But as Time says this, Time disappears and fades away, and Fang's time ends up returning to him, making him a lot younger. As he looks over to Victor and Julia, as he says, "I am not deserving of your charity, Unjustice." But Julia says, "Oh, of course you are. You fought with all of us to the very end, Fang," as she turns away. We then cut to Rip, Latla, and Billy as they're running away from Master Rule Sick, who I assume this is their Phase 3 form. As they're being chased, it's an amalgamation. I legitimately forgot who they were fighting for a second after seeing this. I'm like, oh wait, this is Sick. Who else would Rip be fighting right now? I literally saw this a couple of chapters ago. As Rip is just laying in on Billy for not being able to use the copy of Unjustice and not getting a hang of it at all. And seems like since he never used it against Enuma before, he's not sure if he got the hang of it. I just love Rip just saying, how could their boss just be so useless in this instance? And I just find this hilarious as they're all running for their lives. Especially considering that Julia isn't going to be helping them, that's why Billy is there. And I just love how they just said, how the hell does remember something that gives you all your previous life memories and experiences from past loops nerf you so badly? But it's in this instance that Sick gets squashed by Tatiana's untouchable ability, as she says to Billy, "You didn't forget our promise, have you?" And Bax is there as well as she goes to hug Latla. And Billy's just overjoyed, saying, "Yeah, let's go ahead and fight together." As then we get another massive explosion, as we cut to Yusai, who was actually previously fighting Master Rule Justice. She's bloodied on the ground, injured, but is being complimented by Julia, saying that she owes her one. If they didn't have her ability on their side, then conquering Justice would have been impossible. Saying that she did a good job withstanding this guy for so long, and to leave the rest to that. And this is insanity. This means that Undraw managed to somehow nerf Justice so badly that Julia was able to come in and help deal the finishing blow with Victor. I would have loved to see more of this fight, but the fact that it was stated like this is just incredible. Now, how many Master Rules did Julia help take out? There was War, Time, and now Justice. That's 3 Master Rules taken out with Julia's full-on help in dealing finishing blows with. Now, Sick doesn't seem to be taken out just yet. It was just squashed, so we still got the Sick fight. But we then cut back to Gina fighting Change. And this fight is still raging on with insane brutality. Because the last time we saw, Gina lost her arm previously. Change tells Gina that it's useless. No matter what attack she throws at her, the rule of change will override it instantly. Saying that a vessel stands no chance against a rule. Which probably would have been the case with Julia fighting against Justice, because they probably would have negated, pun not intended, just canceled each other out with how their abilities work. But as Gina is fighting off Change, something is rocketing in from out of the panel. Gina says, "Long time no see, Janti Justy." As then Julia's saber comes in thanks to being launched, I assume, from Victor, stabbing Change in the head with Julia's soul and attached to it, allowing Unjustice to take root in Change, which, thanks to the ability, Change's body no longer changes, and makes her a perfect target for Gina, as Gina takes her giant sword and then slashes Change in half, defeating her. And that's another Master Rule taken down in this chapter, with Julia's ability, Unjustice, being the deciding factor. With Change seemingly defeated, Gina tosses the saber back into the air, and it's picked up by Victor, as she thanks Julia, and then calls out to Andy and Fuuko, as she says help her out. And as they're going along, Luck realizes something, and then gets hit with a soul bad bullet by Fuuko. But after getting hit, Luck realizes they can't use Luck to dodge it, as it then dawns on them that Unjustice has come back. But before they could finish their sentence, Death ends up slicing off Luck's head without meaning to, as Luck then fades away, with the last words being, "I'm sorry, today just wasn't my lucky day," as Death looks at Luck fading away and just gets absolutely angry, turning into their final phase. But before they could launch at Fuuko and Andy and Victor double team Death in a pincer move with Dead End Road from both sides, seemingly completely defeating death itself. Which, with this, we have 6 master rules taken out in this one singular chapter, with the deciding factor being Unjustice itself. And after Death's defeat, we cut to Julia and Victor riding alongside Fuuko and Andy and the rest of the Union members charging straight towards Sun. With Julia asking what the estimated time for the split is, as Andy says, it's about 10 more minutes. We got plenty of time, so let's go and end it all as the chapter ends. Now, the split, I presume he means for him and Victor to stay separated due to his ability of Undead basically splitting himself off, so they got 10 minutes to keep Victor in play. Now, assuming Sick wasn't defeated by being squashed by Tatiana, that essentially means we still got 2 more master rules, the last one's being Sick and Soul himself. So that is definitely interesting, because with Unjustice manifested, they basically took out all the master rules aside from 2, and now they just have the gods of this world to take out in this instance. So Undead Unluck is definitely wrapping up right now. We haven't got any announcements that it's ending within the next couple of chapters, but it'd be interesting to see, because I do see with how things are paced, early next year, this series will be over. But this chapter fully showcased, if we didn't know this already, how absolutely broken Unjustice as an ability is, and how literally with Julia remembering how to use it properly, just went to each and every battlefield, and with that ability, turned things in the tide for the Union and had them take out their individual opponents. And I just absolutely love this chapter. While yes, I would have loved to see some of these fights go on a bit more, see more of the action, the way things went about this time with Unjustice, it makes sense how things would end quickly and not be too dragged out. Now, this is obviously something that the anime could give us a few extra minutes of fights between this before Julia shows up to help turn the tide in their favor with her ability. But overall, I'm still incredibly hyped about this chapter. This was so much fun. I cannot wait to see how things play out. We still got 2 master rules to deal with before we fully take out Sun and eventually Luna. I'm curious to see what other turn the mangaka will give us this time, as we're reaching more and more towards this finale. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this chapter, how overpowered Unjustice is, if you would like certain fights to have been a bit longer, and how do you feel the series will end and how long we have left. Let me know down below. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.